Hello and welcome back to Storytime at 9. Now, we were away for a month or so. I'm sure most of you are regular visitors to Storytime. You don't need me to tell you about Storytime. But those of you who are joining us for the first time, uh, Storytime at 9 is something that started last year during the pandemic, in which every Saturday, right at 9 p.m. Indian time, we travel to different countries with the finest storytellers from that country who tell us stories from their country and also tell us about their country, followed by a little interaction in terms of questions and answers. And we had season 1, which ended in February. We had season 2 that started in May, ended in August. And this is the third and final season. We've already traveled to 37 countries. We could not travel, but we could travel virtually every Saturday through the storytelling sessions. So 37 countries, different countries in as many as 46 sessions. And in this series, which we are starting today, again, it will go on every Saturday at 9 p.m. live on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter channels till the new year, when we'll complete 50 countries. That was a promise with which we had started, and that is what we are bringing to you. So those of you who've missed some of the earlier sessions, you can go to our YouTube channel. We'll just show you how. You go to the YouTube channel of Bakul Foundation, and there, you can select, there's a icon of playlist. Can we just show the YouTube channel? You go and select the playlist of Storytime at 9, and there you can see all the videos, all the 46 videos of season 1 and season 2. Yes, you see that? You see the YouTube channel there. Now you can see, if you go to playlists, right? There you'll find Storytime at 9 as one of the, because there are of course other videos, the Rabi Bar Goppa Bar, which is storytelling in Odia, which we had, the talks, all of that is there. So if you select Storytime at 9, the playlist, you can look at all the different sessions. You scroll down, up and down, and you'll find all of that. But just to remind you again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That will make it easier for you to get notifications. Someone had written to me asking, how can I get a notification? If you subscribe to the YouTube channel or like the Facebook page, you can definitely get to know about all of this. We can remove the share screen now. Yes. Yes. So as I was telling you, so you can look at the earlier videos on YouTube. You can, if you see on Facebook also, go to the video section, you'll get them. So they're all there, right? But then do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel or like the Facebook page. And do not forget to share the videos, because I feel really happy that we've been able to manage to get the best storytellers from the world. And today is one such day. When we started Storytime, some of our storytellers, many of you love Nupur Agarwal and many others, Lopamudra Mahanti, many of them had been telling me, you have to get Antonio Rocha. And when I looked at his videos, my God, they were mind-boggling. He is famous all over the world for his unique fusion of mime and spoken word. He has performed across the world, and he is someone, I would love to have him perform live, for you to see him live when things get better. But now that, he cannot travel here right away, but we can listen to him. And I'm sure you will love the session, love listening to his stories. He is originally from Brazil, and today he will be introducing us to his native country, Brazil, though he moved to the US and now he's based there. Antonio, welcome to Storytime at 9. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Mahapatra. This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Here.
Until then, once again, before Antonio begins, wish you a very happy Gandhi Jayanti. I was just telling Antonio before the show that today happens to be the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, and a very important day for India. Today also happens to be, Antonio, the the birthday of another very eminent Prime Minister, someone everyone respects, Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri. He was also born on this day. So 2nd October was the best day we could think of to resume our third season and to have your session. So over to you, Victoria.
Fantastic. I'm very honored and proud to be here on such an amazing day for all of India. So what I'll do now is I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. You don't need to write anything on the comments because I won't be able to read it, okay? I won't be able to read it. I don't have my glasses on, and I am here to tell you some stories. All right, so we're going to start. First story takes place right here in the Amazon rainforest, okay? Which is the largest rainforest in the world. And that's where this story comes from. It happened a long time ago. And all of a sudden, like things tend to happen, a little boy found himself lost. Lost, not in his house because he knew his house well, not in his village because he knew his village very well, but this boy found himself lost in the Amazon rainforest. Oh. Oh, he was lost, all right. Everywhere he looked, all he could see were trees and trees and trees everywhere. And then the sun began to set. Oh no, when the sun sets in the tropics, as you know, it gets dark really, really fast. And all of a sudden, those tall, beautiful trees had turned into strange looking shapes. Hey, you boy, who's that? Hey, you boy, who is it? And that's when he saw a pair of red eyes staring at him. And then he noticed another pair of eyes staring from this direction and that direction and this other direction. And before he found himself surrounded by them, he started to run across the woods in the dark. He couldn't see a thing in front of his face. And he was running as fast as he could, tripping on the roots of the trees, hitting his head against the branches of the same ones. But he didn't care. All he wanted to do was get away. Never run in the woods with your mouth open. He ate a lot of mosquitoes. And then he tripped and flew through the air and landed chest first. Oh, he peeled himself off the ground and had leaves down his shirt and leaves down his pants. Yep, right there in his underwear. And then he looked up and he could see the full moon. Wow, he could see the moonlight. It was impossible to see the full moon, but he knew the moon was full. It was impossible to see it because the canopy of the forest is so tight with the branches. He was farther deeper into the forest. He was way, way out deeper. Oh, I'm Macaw. Hello, Macaw. I'm lost. That's not my name. It's just the situation I'm in right now. I'm so glad you're here, Macaw. You see, there was a bird flying over my house today. That's how I got lost. It was this beautiful bird flying over my house, and I was playing with my toys. And I love animals, but I've never seen such a beautiful bird before. It had so many colors, Macaw. It was kind of similar to you, but I know my macaws really well. You're my favorite bird in the whole world. So I know what a macaw looks like, but that bird I never seen before. So I kept looking at that bird. I kept looking at that bird. I kept looking at that bird. And guess what happened? I was not just looking at the bird. I was following the bird too. And then the bird disappeared. And that's when I realized I was in the forest. I had paid no attention. And I'm still in the forest. And you're listening to me. That's so nice. Can you please help me go home? Do you know the way out of here, please? I love the forest, but I'd rather sleep at home. Can you help me, macaw? Please help me. Ah! Ah! Show you the way home. Show you the way home? Why bother showing you the way home? You come here with cages and traps, and you steal us. You sell us for lots of dollars. Yes, you call us exotic, and you lock us in cages, and we never get to fly again. I know the stories. I've been in a cage before. I was lucky the fella did not lock the cage very well, so I was able to open the cage with my beak and fly away. So my friends, however, were not as lucky. I never seen my friends again after that horrible day. They're all taken away. And some of them had babies in their nests. Yes, you hear me right. Their parents. And I had to take care of their babies. And their babies never got to see their parents again. Yes, so listen, you're lost. That's probably a trick. You probably have some cages, some trap somewhere. You're not going to fool me. You're lost. Be lost. Ah! 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 Macaw, macaw, come back. Macaw, please, don't fly away. You're the favorite bird in the whole world. Come on, macaw, please. I was not going to steal you. I was not going to steal anything. I'm a little guy. I'm wearing my shorts and my shirt. I have nothing hiding anywhere. Come back. I'm sorry your friends got stolen. Macaw. Hello? Who's that? Who is it? A jaguar. Whoa. Look at you. You're the biggest cat in South America. The great jaguar. Hey, look at your paws. Whoa. Look at your eyes. You want to go over there? Okay, I'll stay over here because I know you need a lot of space. So you take out the space you need. I'm okay over here. I don't need a lot of space. You can stay there. I'll stay here. How about that? Oh, you're coming back? Okay. You go over there. I stay over here then. Okay? I want to go home. I'm lost. It's a long story how I got lost. I just want to go home right now. And I was wondering if you could please show me the way home. Jaguar, I know you're a good hunter. I know you're a good tracker. Can you please show me the way home? Jaguar, please? Please, Jaguar? Show you the way home? Ah, you come in here and you kill my brothers and sisters. You take their skin away and you throw the rest of them away like they're a piece of trash. You don't even have the respect to eat them. And then you want me to show you the way home? That's funny. Very funny. But not really. Yeah. You call us wild and dangerous. I wonder who is the dangerous one here. Let me tell you something, boy. Here in the jungle, we're very civilized. We only kill when we're hungry. You smell really good. You'd make me a nice meal. But don't you worry. I just ate. I'm not interested in you right now. Whoa! He was lucky that jaguar was full. Running away from a jaguar is not going to do him any good. Jaguars have 4 legs. We only got 2. Hmm. 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 Well, I guess I'm lost. All right. The animals don't trust me. Jaguar doesn't trust me. Macaw doesn't trust me. Oh, I know. Maybe there's another kid lost, and we can be lost together. Hello? Anybody else lost, please? Hello? Hello? Right behind him, he heard a snake. It was a big snake, all right. But you know what you do with a snake that big? You leave it alone. You walk away slowly. Don't have to kill it. You don't have to step on it. You don't have to kick it. Just leave it alone. And that's what that boy did. You know why? Because he knew exactly what to do from reading. Yeah. Whoa, fireflies. There are fireflies everywhere. Look at the fireflies. I love fireflies. Hello, fireflies. Wow. Look at you. Look at, wow, fireflies over here. Fireflies over there. Fireflies everywhere. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's a firefly on my finger. Hi. You go on and off, on and off, on and off. How do you do that? Wow. Come over here. Are you trying to tell me something? What? You can show me the way home? I'm so happy you trust me. I learned a lot today. Yes, the animals are suffering a lot. There are some crazy people out there hurting animals all the time, so they don't trust us anymore. I understand that. You know what I can do? I'm going to tell their story all over the world. I'll tell it to as many people as I can, and maybe one day I won't have to tell it anymore. Because people, all people, will treat animals just the way we want to be treated, right? Whoa, there you go. There you go. Okay, don't go very fast. Wow. Boys and girls, when that boy looked up, all the fireflies were ready to show him the way home. Not just that one firefly, all of them had built a beautiful trail of light throughout the moonlit forest, and they showed the boy home, safe and sound. Yeah, safe and sound. How about that? Well, it's 11:50. And what I'll do is tell you a short story now with just my hands. And then I'll tell you another story about things that I used to do in Brazil when I was a kid like you. Okay? That's what I'll tell you to conclude our time together. All right. So this next story, in real life, it takes 10 to 12 days for the story to unfold. And I'm using the word unfold very strategically, because things do unfold in the story I'm about to tell you. So keep your eyes on my hands. You know, you don't have to take them out of your head and put on my hands literally, but keep looking at my hands. I'm not going to say anything. It's going to be a pantomime story. So look at my hands, and for 1 minute, you're going to get 12 days worth of story in 1 minute. Just watch. And that's the end of that story. Ha ha. Okay. So you can ask me questions about it after the storytelling part is over. Okay. But that whole story was told simply with 3 shapes. This move here, this shape here, and this one here. Okay. That's all I needed to tell that story. Those 3 shapes. Oh, I'm forgetting the most important part. Your imagination. Yeah, that's the most important part. Yeah. Well, when I was a boy, as you know, I lived in Brazil. And in Brazil, like parts of India, and also parts of the United States and many other places in the world, there are big spiders lurking about. Big, furry spiders. Oh, yes. They're not furry, they're hairy. Oh, hairy spiders are scary, especially when I was a kid. They're not scary for me right now. But I'll tell you this. One day in Brazil, when I was a kid, I was coming home from a trip. Yeah. And I couldn't wait to go to the bathroom. Have you felt that way? You need to go really badly, and you just can't wait to get to the bathroom. And I was holding water. I was holding water really badly, and I'm walking. You know, I wasn't a little boy. I was kind of a medium-sized boy, but I was no adult. And I'm coming towards the house. You know, I was coming towards the house. I was about 14 years old at the time, and I'm coming into the house, and I say, "Hi, Dad." He was sitting there on the couch. And then I went into the kitchen, and I said, "Hi, Mom." Hi, Mom. She was in the kitchen. And then the bathroom was off the kitchen. In this house we lived, the bathroom was connected to the kitchen. And I opened the door of the bathroom, and the light of the kitchen came into the bathroom over my shoulders. And I could see my shadow against the wall because I hadn't turned the light of the bathroom on yet. So my shadow went against the wall. And next to my shadow, I could see, taking a whole tile, a huge tarantula. Oh, Harry, all right. It was the size of my hand. And guess what happened to me? All of a sudden, I didn't need to go pee anymore. I just stood there looking at the spider, and I went, "Mom!" And my mom came from behind me and she looked over my shoulder and she said, "That's a big one." And she left the house and left me standing there looking at this monstrous spider. And then she came back with a long piece of wood. And with this long piece of wood, she hit the spider while still standing in the kitchen. And then I got all brave and I picked the spider up. Yeah, after the spider was dead. Yeah, there was no other way to work with the spider. It was too big, too hairy, and it was in the bathroom. So unfortunately, there is no other way to kind of pick it up and put it outside. We had to get rid of it. A few months later, I think it was one of the most funny things that I heard when I was a kid. One of my big sisters, I have 4 big sisters. I'm the youngest one. Even today, I'm still the youngest one. I have 4 big sisters. Yeah. And one of my sisters came to visit with her husband. And I was asleep. And in the middle of the night, I wake up. I wake up to this sound. Don't touch it. It's going to jump. No, don't get too close. It's going to jump. These jump. Oh, it's hairy too. No, don't do it. Back away. All I could hear was the voice of my sister and the voice of her husband talking just like that. It's hairy. It's going to jump. These jump. Be careful. Step away. Okay, I'll step away. There are all these voices. I'm like, what is it that they're looking at? What is it that I'm looking at? So I'm in my bedroom listening, and all of a sudden, I hear my mom's flip-flops coming from her bedroom. I hear it loud and clear because she had a rhythm to her walk, and those flip-flopped just right against her heels. And I heard flip-flop, 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 smack! Flip-flop, 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 back. She never said a sound. Not a sound was heard after that smack. So what do you think happened? Yeah. And now to conclude our time together with stories, there'll be more coming with the slideshow that Mr. Maharatra created. You're going to love it. But this, to conclude our story, is another pantomime with just my hands. You just saw one with these shapes, and now you're going to see another one. And I don't even have to tell you what this one is about because you know what it will be about. Okay, so it's only 1 minute long. Okay, guys? Okay, so let's not start the slideshow yet. Let's go back to me. Thank you. I need to see me big on the screen like that. Thank you so much. All right, so here's a 1 minute story again. Uh-oh. I need to teach that spider some manners, don't you think? You should never eat that fast. Oh, what is this? Look at what I found on my computer keyboard. Wow! Kids, look at this. Just a second. Just a second. Just a second. I'll take care of it really fast, okay? Just about a minute here. Just a sec. And that was the end of that show. All right. Thank you for listening so well. Very, very good. Okay, so here we go.
Wow. Now, children, didn't you love that? I just loved it. And it's amazing. The last storytelling session we had in season 2, the one just before this, we had a storytelling only with sounds, Antonio. And I was looking forward to this because, I had heard so much about and I talked about it also, your fusion of mime and spoken word. And this was amazing. Now, children, if you are able to, I challenge you to do one thing. Now, the 2 stories that he told, the one entirely with mime, movements, you can tell the story and send it to us on our email, contactbakul@gmail.com.
Nice.
Right? And we will share the story with Antonio. Yes, the email ID here, you have that, right? So record yourself, go back to this video, see it again, try and reconstruct the story from the movements, but you have to tell it with words. Okay? So we would like to, Antonio and us, and we would like to play the best one that we like in the next show. So do send your videos to contactbakul@gmail.com, particularly the first mime story, which was entirely with movement. And that would be amazing to see.
Right. Yes, and we must say that it's not about the best one. It's just that we can he can only pick one, I think, right? So
yes.
everybody's story should be able to be seen eventually, right?
Yeah. We don't want to share it on our social media. On the show, we may be able to show only one of them, but on our social media, we would love to share them.
Very good. Yeah, because we want to encourage all the kids. Yes.
And once again, let me tell you, I've told you this earlier. I have been reading your comments. Antonio was not, but I was reading your comments, and you've been talking about how you love the stories. Now, you know what you're supposed to do if you love the stories. Other storytellers have also told you. You're not supposed to keep it to yourself. You can tell the same story to your friends. You can also share this video with your friends, family, friends of friends, friends of family, etc. Right? So do that definitely.
And I have other stories. I have other stories on YouTube and on my internet account, my website, actually.
Yes, we can write down. So his website is storyinmotion.com. So if you go to that, you'll find videos. If you go to YouTube, look for him, right? It's Antonio. It's written Antonio Rocha, pronounced Rocha, but Rocha is how you write it. Okay, so you can look for it on YouTube as well and find the other videos. And now Antonio will tell us about Brazil. But just before that, just to let you know, there's also a feedback form in the description of the video on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you're seeing it. We would request you to fill up the feedback form and tell us how you liked the show, what you liked, what you wanted to see, so that we can share it with everyone and we can consider that also, right? So please go to the YouTube channel, the video description, or the Facebook page, the video description again of this video, and you can fill up the feedback form. Antonio, let's have your presentation now.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
It's funny because StreamYard, everything is backwards, so I never know which way to go. Okay, here's the Brazilian flag. The Brazilian flag, the way I learned in school, boys and girls, is the green is for the jungle, the yellow is for the gold, and the blue is for the sky. And in the middle it says order and progress. So that's the Brazilian flag right there. Okay. Okay, we can move on to the next slide. And that's Brazil right there in the world. You see that's South America? And that's South America here as well. Can you see that on the bottom left of the map? And there's a yellow country there on the left bottom. And that's Brazil you're looking at in the world. It's the 5th largest country in the world. 5th largest country in amount of land, not people. Land. There are about 210 million people in Brazil. Next slide, please. There's Brazil again. Good. You see, it's the largest country in South America. It's the same distance from bottom to up, almost the same distance as side to side. Okay, Brazil is as long this way as it is this way. Okay, next slide, please. And those are the states in Brazil. There are 26 states in Brazil, 26 states and 26 capitals. Rio de Janeiro is a very famous one, and because it is the capital of Rio de Janeiro state. If you see that on the small box on the slide, you're going to see Rio de Janeiro, and it's also Rio de Janeiro state, similar to New York, but so you have a city and you have a state. Okay. Next slide, please. And there is what I wanted to tell you is that Brazil is equally as long this way as it is that way. And it's about 4,100 kilometers. That's very, 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 very big. Okay. And those are the different indigenous languages spoken by the indigenous people. Okay. And the national language is Portuguese, because we are a colony of Portugal. Like India was a colony of the British. So you speak English as well as your language in the state where you live in India. In Brazil, we speak Portuguese, but we don't speak the languages that are native. Only the native people speak that language, meaning the Indians. Okay? All right. And those are some of the native people of Brazil. Beautiful people. There are lots of different ethnicities in Brazil, and they wear different headdresses, and they do different body tattoos, and they wear different colors on their faces. There are hundreds and hundreds of different indigenous people in Brazil. Okay, so Brazil is made out of indigenous people, European people, and also African people. We are the largest African diaspora in the world, meaning group of people originally from Africa and descended from Africans. 56%. Let me repeat that. More than half of the Brazilians in Brazil, 56%, are of African descent. Okay? 56. Because of slavery, a lot of Africans were forced to go to Brazil and be slaves. So here's another group of indigenous people. Look at that long arrow. You know that arrow is for? Catching birds. You shoot it up into the sky and you can catch a bird in a flock of birds, or a monkey up in the tree. Look at that. Beautiful photograph. Next slide, please. Oh, that tree is called the Brazil wood tree. And the Brazil wood tree is what the Portuguese used. And they cut it, so many of them down. We have very few left. And you know why they cut so many of them down, boys and girls? Because the Portuguese could get red color from the wood. Yes, the color of the Brazil wood is reddish. And that's how they would get the red dye, was from the Brazil wood. There's a lot of good value in the wood, but they took so many of them. It's very rare to find a Brazil wood in Brazil today. Next slide, please. Okay, these are some palm trees, some coconut trees, and these shots are from the northeast coast right here, the Golden Coast. There are about 2,000 miles of coconut groves, and they came from India. You see, the Portuguese would go to India to trade with spices. You know, the Portuguese went to India, and there are places in India with Portuguese architecture. So in the trips that the Portuguese took between Portugal and India, they would go to Brazil as well. And coconut was introduced to Brazil from India by the Portuguese. So there's a lot of similar things in Brazil to India. Next, please. Okay, more coconut groves right by the ocean. Look at that. It looks like Goa, doesn't it? It looks like many beaches in India, but that's Brazil. Next slide, please. And that's a river in the Amazon. Not the Amazon River, but that's one of many rivers in the Amazon. Amazon takes 9 countries in South America. There are 9 countries in South America where the Amazon is. Brazil is the one that has the most amount of Amazon. But I did not grow up in the Amazon, okay? I grew up far away right here in the big city of Rio. Right in Rio, right here. This is a 3-hour flight to go to the Amazon. 3 hours by plane, just to give you an idea. So the Amazon is here. Next, please. That is a beautiful shot. There are 2 rivers in the Amazon. One comes from Peru. That's called the Amazon River. Then you have the Black River that comes from the north. The Black River is the one you see there. The Amazon River is the orange-looking one. And when they meet, it's 9 miles wide. Just think about that. It's about 14 kilometers wide, the river. You can look in the Amazon. After this, you can go to Google and say, meeting of the rivers in the Amazon. You're going to see this. It is so wide. Look at that. That's a river. And it takes miles for the waters to mix. For miles, they run down the river side by side without mixing. And always like, hey, I'm black. Hey, you're orange. I'm staying over here. You staying over there. And then they start telling stories along the way, and they get along and they get all mixed up. Yep. Next slide, please. Oh, the Iguazu Falls. If you watch Indiana Jones and the Secret of the Crystal Skull, there are a lot of shots in the Iguazu Falls. These are between Brazil, the country of Paraguay, and the country of Argentina. They're located in the southern part right here, right where I'm touching right here. If you go there on a map, you're going to see Brazil touches it, Paraguay touches it, and Argentina touches it. And that's where that big waterfall is. It's not just one waterfall. It is hundreds and hundreds of them. And it's called Iguazu Falls. It is a breathtaking sight. I've been there myself. And I recommend, if you ever go to southern Brazil, for you to take a side trip and go there. All right, next slide, please. Oh, that's where I grew up. That's Christ the Redeemer on top of Corcovado Mountain. That mountain, boys and girls, where the Christ statue is about 2,000 feet high, 700 meters high. Then beyond it, you have Sugarloaf, which is about 400 meters high. And those white buildings way over there on the left, way over there, way in the back on the left side, more than halfway up the slide is where I grew up, across the bay. And the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean is on the right, and the Bay Area is on the left. So you can see the opening of the bay there, and the bay is to the left, and the big amount of water to the right is the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, And you can use Google Earth to take a closer look at that later. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the world because of the mixture of bay, ocean, mountains, and the buildings. Next one, please. And that is a sad reality in Brazil. There are a lot of poor people in Brazil. And in Rio, they live on the hills in what we call favelas. There are shanties. Some favelas are better than others. Some favelas have nice libraries with community centers and things for the kids to do. But some favelas don't. And it's not a happy reality. And they live one on top of each other, but that's on the hills of Rio. This is a picture. You saw the hills on the slide before that one. And if you take a closer look at the hills, you see these houses. Next slide, please. All right. And in Rio, that's the largest soccer stadium in the world. Maracanã. You want to try to say that? That's a mouthful. Maracanã Stadium. It is the largest soccer stadium in the world in seating capacity. At least it was when I was a kid. I haven't, stayed up with maybe there's a soccer stadium in the world that seats more people to watch a soccer game. And you can ask Mr. Google that. But when I was a kid, that was the largest one in the world. All right. That's a typical uniform there you saw. Okay, this is cassava flour. This is a delicious root. It is super white on the inside. And people make a powder. You can boil it like a potato. And it is very, very, very good to eat. It's delicious with some butter and salt. And it's very typical in Africa. And it was brought over from Africa. Okay? I believe that's the truth about it. It came from Africa. It's not native of Brazil. Next one, please. Oh, what would be Brazil without the coffee, huh? What would be Brazil without the coffee? Those are coffee beans. My grandfather used to be responsible for the coffee in a farm that he worked in before my mother was even married. When she was a little girl, my grandfather, her father, was responsible for the coffee fields of this farmer in Brazil. Coffee beans. All right. Next. Oh, feijoada. Feijoada is a slave dish. Now, listen to this. This dish became popular after a long time ago, but before it became popular, it was like nobody could, it was hard to find it because it was a slave dish. There's a lot of prejudice in Brazil and with black people, and it's like, no, we're not going to eat slave dish. But now you can find it everywhere in Brazil. It's the national dish, and you can find it in most Brazilian restaurants abroad. Why is a slave dish? Because the slaves were not allowed to eat the best part of the pork. So they get bits and pieces of the pork, the tail, the tongue, the ears, and they'll mix it up with beans and eat it with some orange and some of that root. You see at the bottom of the picture there, you see that kind of powdery area there on the bottom of the dish. That's the powder made from the root you saw on the previous page. And then they mix a little rice and some collard greens and they ate it up. And then it became very popular, and it's a very colorful dish, isn't it? Orange and green and black. That's feijoada. I make it myself here in the United States for my family, and we love it. But you got to have a pig's foot in there. You got to put a pig's foot in it. Otherwise, it's not good. You have to have the pig's foot in there. Okay? All right. Next dish. I'm hungry. No, I mean, next slide. That's an Afro-Brazilian dance called capoeira. It's a fighting martial art type of thing. But it became a dance. If they don't touch each other, It is dance-like with lots of acrobatics. So you're looking at one person trying to hit somebody else's face with his foot, and he's backing away from the foot. And that is done in slow motion in the dance form. So they have a slow motion move. And they do the dance with the foot coming and going, and they never hit each other. It's beautiful. You can watch that on YouTube. Capoeira. I'm going to put here on the chat how you spell it. Spell like this. Capoeira. Wait. Capoeira. There it is. Really fun to watch them doing it. Next slide, please. Oh, Carnival. The big party in the world. Carnival. Carnival is a Catholic holiday. It's when it's before Lent. You see, in Catholicism is a religion with inside the Christian sect, and they have what's called Lent before Easter, which is in April. So you're not supposed to eat certain things. You're not supposed to party for those weeks. So the 4 days before Lent starts, people used to go crazy and party because they can't do it afterwards. So Carnival came out of that. And you have Carnival everywhere. And these are samba girls, samba women, and they dress like tropical birds and they do the samba. Next slide, please. And this is a Carnival parade in Rio. Look at all the millions, the thousands of people watching live, and the art that they create for the parade is incredible. Look at that. It's a jaguar with the head of an alligator. You see the body of a jaguar and the head of an alligator. There's a story there. I don't know what the story is, but there's a story there. And there are lots and thousands of people. If you take a closer look, it goes on and on and on and on behind that. Next slide, please. Oh, who is that? That's me in India 5 years ago, performing for kids in Bangalore. I've been to Bangalore, I've been to Chennai, I've been to Pune, I've been to Vizag, Visakhapatnam. Yeah, I love India. I feel very much at home in India. And I can't wait to come back. I've been there twice. Next slide, please. And that's a picture I took outside my hotel in Bangalore of a street peanut seller. And I almost cried, boys and girls, when I saw that peanut seller. You know why? Because he's selling the peanut in a paper cone the way I used to buy it when I was a kid in Brazil. How about that? I had not seen peanuts sold like that since I was a little boy. And when I step outside my hotel, there is my childhood right there on the streets of India. I could not believe it myself. I had no idea that in India I would see somebody selling peanuts the way I used to buy them when I was a kid in Brazil, in a paper cone. Wow. That was amazing. Next slide, please. Oh, mangoes. Oh my goodness, mangoes. There are so many mangoes in Brazil. You know, there are mangoes. Some streets have mango trees in them. And when it's season, guess what? You don't park your car underneath a mango tree when it's season, because the mango will fall on your car and dent the car. Yeah. Lots of mangoes in Brazil. Lots and lots of mangoes. Next slide, please. And in India too, I know that.
I guess we're done.
I think we're done. Look at that. You learned so much about Brazil. And wow, this is great. Very, very good. Now, do you have any questions from me, boys and girls?
Yes, there are. So, children, I had written down his name once again. I'm just showing it once again, the spelling, so that you can search for him on YouTube and on Google, right? Okay, let's look at the questions. Those of you who still want to ask questions, type in wherever you're seeing it on YouTube or Facebook in the comments box, right? And remember, you're supposed to fill up the feedback form after the show. Okay, let's see the questions. Abhinash is asking, I've heard Brazil is famous for emerald. And where is it available in Brazil?
Okay. Brazil is very famous for lots of rock, famous gemstones. Famous, very famous for gemstone. Amethyst, gold, too. And oh my goodness, the state that is very famous for these stones is Minas Gerais, right here. And Minas Gerais, if you translate to English, means mine general. Mine, from mining the gemstone, meaning lots of mines are found here. And that's the name of the state. Minas means mine, and general means lots of different mines, okay? And so I believe emeralds come from there as well, but you can Google that just to make sure I'm not making a mistake. But I know for sure that when Brazil was still not a country, the Portuguese took a lot of gold and a lot of gemstones from here. Next question. How do you manage to keep your hands still in the... I trained them.
What's the secret?
I trained them. Every time they moved, I would say, that's not good enough. And when they didn't move, I'd give them a cookie. You mean this? You're talking about this? You see, when I do this, they're always moving a little bit. But it looks like they're not moving at all because the other hand is doing the move. So when one hand is moving, it looks like the other one is not. Okay? All right. Next question.
You would be an amazing dancer.
Oh, I am a good dancer. Yes.
Yeah.
Not a professional one, but I can groove. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So children, we have to wait for Antonio to come to Orissa. And when he performs live, after the storytelling, we'll dance with him on stage.
Sounds wonderful. My favorite food of Brazil, there are many different favorite foods. I'm not a favorite kind of guy because I like so many things. It's hard to put one on top of the other. But I'll tell you this. I love feijoada. Oh, I love feijoada. It just has a very profound, emotional, and tasteful connection with me. Okay, feijoada, that dish you saw earlier. Okay, I'm going to spell feijoada here so you can go on Google. Feijoada. Okay?
There's someone who had asked this question. I'm unable to see that, about how you decided to become a storyteller.
It was decided for me. Here's what happened. I used to do mime, and I wouldn't talk on stage. And I was very serious about mime. I studied mime for over 15 years with two amazing mimes, one from France called Marcel Marceau, another one from the United States called Tony Montanaro. He was my big mime teacher, Tony Montanaro. Tony Montanaro. I'm going to quickly run to my office and grab a picture with both of them. And then there are some stories I really wanted to tell with words. And I said, I want to tell some stories too. And then I started to add some stories. Guess what was my first story I ever told? In 1992, a long time ago, 30 years ago almost, I told the story you heard today, The Boy Who Gets Lost in the Woods. That was my first story I ever told. Okay? So that story is almost 30 years old. And then I did one story, two stories, three stories. And then people said, I like the mime and the storytelling, Antonio. Come into my school and do 45 minutes. And I would go, oh no, I don't have 45 minutes of stories. So I start to add more stories. And then they'll say, come to my festival and do 3 hours of stories. Oh no, I don't have 3 hours. So I'd add more stories. And then 30 years later, I have over 100 stories and I can go on for a long time. Yeah. Now let me quickly run here while I get the next slide.
Right. Now, children, by the time Antonio comes back, just to let you know, we'll be back next Saturday where we'll be traveling to another country. I want you to guess the name of the country. Woo! There's a clue there. What is the name of the country? And I've given you a clue. Let me give you another clue. It is in Africa that we'll be traveling to next Saturday, again at 9 p.m. on the same channels of Buckle Foundation, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. What is the name of the country? I've given you the clue. Any answers here? Let's see.
Wow, let me try to guess. What is it? What's the clue?
What is the name of the country? That is the clue.
From Africa?
Yes.
There are 54 countries in Africa. Come on.
The clue is in the question. The name of the country. There's a play on the word there.
Oh, wow. The name.
No!
Wait a second.
No!
I won't say anything, but what's the name
Of the country.
Name. Is it the word name? That's the clue?
That's right.
Name. Num. Oh, wow.
Ah!
I like that. So this is Tony. That's Tony, and he's dressed up here. Tony was the man I came to study with here. He was an Italian American. And this is, of course, me with Marcel Marceau. Look at Marcel Marceau. And that's me with him. Okay. All right. Next. Oh, this is a better picture of Tony. That's Tony there. Okay. He changed my life. Look at that. That's his name, Tony Montanaro. And that's him. And that's a book he wrote.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and I'm in the book, which is very full of honor I have for being in the book. Next, what's your favorite color? Whoa! I told you I'm not a favorite kind of guy. Maroon. I'll say maroon.
In India, we love the idea of a favorite. So a lot of favorite questions.
I know kids love the favorite thing. For today, maroon, it's a deep red, is my favorite one. Okay, next question.
Okay. Payal has guessed Namibia. Okay, you'll get to know. Manisha, there's no Nambali. That sounds like a name of a person, not a country. I think we don't have any questions right now. It's time. Antonio, you want to say anything to the children before we sign off?
Well, children, it's been a pleasure telling you stories. Thank you for listening and keep in touch. Be kind to each other, okay? Always be kind. And when you cannot be kind, walk away. Okay? And if somebody's not being kind to you, guess what? Walk away too. And listen to this. Can I get an idea of how many kids came to the show?
We'll know that after the show ends. I'll share with you.
Okay, thank you. It's been a pleasure being with you. Congratulations on Gandhi Day. And congratulations on a beautiful country you live in. India is gorgeous. And I can't wait to come back and maybe you will meet personally one day, okay?
Yes,
I'm going to hold Mr. Mahapatra to that.
Yes. You bet I'm going to get you here.
Thank
In
you.
fact, I didn't know. We are very close to Vizag. We are north of Vizag.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I figured because you said you're south of Calcutta.
Yes.
I said he's probably north of Vizag. Okay.
Yeah, in between Calcutta and Vizag is what
Fantastic.
you have.
Good.
So great. Thank you so much. It was lovely having you. And
Good.
children will be back next Saturday at 9 p.m. But till then, you know what you're supposed to do. Please, you have to, record yourself telling the story that Antonio performed in mime and send it to us on our email ID, contactbakul@gmail.com. Right? And see you next Saturday when
Take care.
we travel to this other country, which Payal thinks is Namibia. I'm not going to tell you whether that's the country or not. We'll see that soon enough.
Sounds good.
Bye, everyone.
Sounds very good. All right. Take care. I gotta go too.
Sure.
And we'll talk. Maybe we'll do a Zoom or another session sometime.
Yes, yes, yes.